A very good morning to you and welcome to the Morning Outlook Report. I'm Rachel Jones reporting live from Kalkine TV Sydney studios. Now, Australian shares are set to open higher this morning. That's with strong oil prices likely boosting domestic energy stocks and tech stocks possibly taking cues from an overnight rally in the big tech firms on Wall Street. The local share price index futures rose 0.5%, a 4.6-point premium to the underlying S&P ASX 200 index. The benchmark settled down 0.4% yesterday following US and major Asian markets that were lower. So despite yesterday's losses, the local market had its best start to a week in 2 months on Monday. US share markets rebounded yesterday, led by tech and major technology companies. Shares in Microsoft and Facebook both rose by 2%, with Alphabet up 1.8% and Apple up 1.4%. Investors are waiting for Friday's jobs data. The Dow Jones index rose 1.4%, while the S&P 500 index rose 1.1%, and the Nasdaq rose by 1.3%. Back home and in company news from today, the A2 Milk Company has been notified that group proceedings have been filed in the Supreme Court of Victoria, which named the company as the defendant. The proceedings, filed by Slater and Gordon lawyers, are said to be brought on behalf of shareholders who acquired an interest in fully paid ordinary shares in the company on the Australian Securities Exchange or the New Zealand Securities Main Board between the 19th of August 2020 and May the 9th. The company considers that it has at all times complied with its disclosure obligations and denies any liability and will vigorously defend the proceedings. Fisher & PAYKEL Healthcare has launched EVORA Full. That's a compact full face mask for sleep apnea. It's designed to allow patients to move and sleep freely without compromising performance. The mask has a floating seal and stability wings that work together to create the next generation of dynamic support technology. The EVORA Full mask is supported by positive clinical trial results. Well, now it's time for a very short break, but stay tuned for more news set to affect the trading day today.
Tune in to get the latest information.
Whether it's about market movements or the currency graph,
Sectoral coverage or industry news.
we cover it all on our news segments.
Be on top of the latest news
With Kalkine TV.
And welcome back to the Morning Outlook Report. Firstly, Bitcoin saw a surge overnight, rising over 4% and surpassing the 70,000 mark. That's 50,000 US. Bitcoin's latest price surge has pushed its market cap above Facebook's, brushing off China's ban. The International Monetary Fund expects global economic growth in 2021 to fall below its July forecast of 6%. And over in the US, let's take a look at their economic data. The ISM Services Index rose to 61.9 in September, and the final Market Services Index eased to 54.9 in September. The trade deficit rose to $73.3 billion in August. US longer-term Treasury prices fell yesterday as investors await a proposed Senate vote to suspend the debt ceiling later today. US 10-year yields rose by around 1.53% and US 2-year yields were up 0.29%. Over in Europe, European share markets rose yesterday, led by banks and technology. It was the first lift for tech stocks in 8 sessions. Bank stocks rose to 18-month highs. The Composite Purchasing Managers Index remained strong at a reading of 56.2, but that was down from August. Overall, the Pan-European Stock 600 Index lifted 1.2%, its best session in 11 weeks. Meanwhile, the German DAX Index rose by 1.1% and the UK FTSE gained 0.9%. In London trade, shares in Rio Tinto fell by 0.1%, while shares in BHP lifted by 0.7%. Major currencies were mostly firmer against the US dollar in European and US trade, and the Aussie dollar was near 72.90 US cents at the US close. Global oil prices rose by around 2% yesterday. That's after OPEC Plus elected not to lift production more than planned. On Monday, OPEC Plus agreed to adhere to its July pact to boost output by 400,000 barrels per day each month until at least April 2022. That's phasing out 5.8 million barrels per day of existing production cuts. The Brent crude price rose by 1.6% and the US NYMEX crude price rose by 1.7%, the highest price since 2014. Base metal prices were mostly higher yesterday, lifting by 0.3 to 1.8%, with aluminium up the least and tin up the most. But copper was the exception, down 0.9%. The gold futures price fell by $6.70 an ounce, or 0.4%. Spot gold was trading near $1,759 US an ounce at the US close, while iron ore was unchanged at $117.80 a tonne. That's all for the Morning Outlook Report today here on Kalkine TV. Have a great day trading and stay tuned for more market updates and economic news live throughout the day. This is Rachel signing off for now.